The universe is testing your patience right now, not because you are failing, not because you are being punished, and not because you are moving too slowly, but because patience is the final alignment before things change, and when the universe prepares to deliver something meaningful, lasting, and transformative, it first ensures that you are no longer attached to rushing, forcing, or controlling the outcome, because what arrives too early often collapses under pressure, and what arrives before readiness becomes a burden rather than a blessing. Lately you may feel as though everything is delayed, as if answers are just out of reach, progress feels invisible, and effort does not immediately produce results, and this can create frustration, doubt, and even exhaustion, especially when you have already waited so long. But this waiting period is not empty time, it is integration time, where lessons are settling, identities are reshaping, and inner foundations are being strengthened in ways you cannot yet see. Patience is not about sitting still passively, it is about maintaining inner steadiness while the outer world reorganizes, and the universe tests this quality because patience reveals whether you trust the process or only the outcome, whether you believe in alignment or only in speed, and whether your faith depends on immediate proof or quiet knowing. When impatience rises, it often masks deeper fears. Fear of missing out, fear of falling behind, fear that what you want may never come, and the universe allows these fears to surface not to torment you, but to dissolve them, because what you fear losing control over is often what you are meant to release, and patience cannot grow where fear is clinging tightly. During this phase, you may notice that plans stall, communication slows, doors remain closed longer than expected, and clarity feels postponed, and this can feel deeply uncomfortable, especially if you are someone who values momentum and progress. But spiritually, this pause is strategic, because the universe is preventing you from settling for less than what truly aligns, even if that less feels tempting simply because it is available now. Impatience often pushes people toward shortcuts, compromises, and decisions driven by anxiety rather than intuition, and the universe tests patience to ensure that when you move forward, you do so from clarity rather than desperation, from alignment rather than urgency. Emotionally, this period can feel heavy because patience requires you to sit with uncertainty without numbing it, to coexist with not knowing without trying to escape it, and this challenges the ego, which prefers action over trust, certainty over surrender, but the soul understands that some things cannot be rushed without being distorted. You may also notice that time feels strange during this phase, days feel long yet weeks pass quickly, and this distortion often occurs when internal transformation is happening faster than external events, creating a mismatch that feels uncomfortable but temporary, because once inner alignment catches up with outer circumstances, movement resumes naturally. The universe also uses patience tests to refine desire itself, helping you distinguish between what you want because it aligns with your growth and what you want because it fills a temporary void, and desires that survive waiting tend to be rooted in truth rather than impulse. Relationships, careers, healing, and personal goals are often delayed not because they are denied, but because something within you still needs adjustment, boundaries need strengthening, self-worth needs stabilizing, or old patterns need dissolving so that when what you desire arrives, it stays, grows, and does not require you to shrink or compromise to maintain it. Patience also teaches you presence, because when the future feels suspended, the present becomes unavoidable, and while this can feel uncomfortable at first, it reconnects you with your inner life, your intuition, and your emotional reality, reminding you that fulfillment is not only found in outcomes but in alignment along the way. Spiritually, patience is the bridge between intention and manifestation, and the universe strengthens this bridge before allowing you to cross fully, because manifestations anchored in impatience often collapse under pressure, while those anchored in patience are stable, sustainable, and deeply satisfying. You may feel tempted to compare your timeline to others, questioning why things seem to move faster for them, but the universe does not operate on collective schedules, it responds to individual readiness, and what looks like delay is often protection, shielding you from experiences you are not yet meant to enter or consequences you are not prepared to handle. Impatience narrows perception, making you focus only on what is missing, while patience expands awareness, allowing you to notice subtle signs of progress, inner growth, emotional resilience, and intuitive clarity that develop quietly during waiting periods. Eventually, patience transforms frustration into trust, urgency into confidence and doubt into quiet certainty. And when this shift happens, movement follows almost effortlessly, because the universe responds to internal readiness more than external demand. When things finally begin to align, they often do so quickly, fluidly, and with far less resistance than expected. And you may look back on this period of waiting and realize that every pause, delay, and unanswered question was shaping you into someone capable of receiving without fear, holding without anxiety, and appreciating without attachment. The universe does not test patience to withhold blessings, it tests patience to ensure that when blessings arrive, they do not overwhelm you, destabilize you, or pull you back into old patterns. And this is why patience feels difficult now, because growth rarely feels comfortable while it is happening, but it always feels meaningful once it has settled. If you are struggling right now, remind yourself that patience does not mean giving up or losing hope. It means trusting timing even when you cannot see the full picture, honoring the pause without interpreting it as rejection, and allowing life to unfold without forcing its pace. The universe sees not only where you want to go, but what you need to become to arrive there whole, grounded, and aligned, and this period of waiting is shaping that becoming, quietly, intentionally, and with purpose, because patience is not the absence of movement, it is movement happening beneath the surface. And when the moment is right, everything that feels stalled will begin to flow again, not because you pushed harder, but because you finally aligned deeply enough to receive what was always on its way. Milky Way sparkles. As this test of patience continues, you may begin to notice subtle inner shifts that feel confusing at first. Moments where you feel strangely calm despite uncertainty, followed by waves of restlessness that seem to come without warning. And this fluctuation is not regression but recalibration, because the universe often destabilizes old emotional patterns before establishing new ones, loosening the grip of identities that were built around struggle, urgency, or survival, and replacing them with a quieter strength that does not depend on constant reassurance. During this phase, the universe invites you to observe rather than react, to witness your thoughts without letting them dictate your behavior, because impatience often shows up as an urge to fix, chase, explain, or prove, while patience asks you to remain grounded even when nothing seems to be happening externally. And this inner stillness is not emptiness but spaciousness, a space where clarity can emerge naturally rather than being forced. You may feel tempted to return to old habits, old connections, or familiar distractions simply because waiting feels uncomfortable, but the universe is gently asking you to resist the urge to fill silence with noise, because silence is where intuition speaks most clearly, and this period is designed to sharpen your ability to hear that voice without interference. Emotionally, patience can feel lonely because it often separates you from people and paths that are no longer aligned, even if they once felt comforting. And this isolation is not abandonment but refinement, making room for relationships and opportunities that resonate with who you are becoming rather than who you used to be. You might notice that things you once desired no longer excite you in the same way, while other desires feel deeper, quieter, and more meaningful. And this shift signals that your values are evolving, aligning less with external validation and more with inner fulfillment, which is a sign that the universe's test is working, reshaping your priorities so that when blessings arrive, they nourish rather than distract you. Patience also teaches emotional sovereignty, the ability to regulate your inner state regardless of external circumstances. And this skill becomes essential because what is coming next may require stability, discernment, and self-trust, qualities that cannot be developed through instant gratification or rushed experiences. The universe understands that impatience often comes from past disappointments, moments when waiting led to loss, rejection, or unmet expectations. And this test is not meant to reopen old wounds but to heal them, showing you that waiting does not always end in disappointment, that timing can protect as much as it delays, and that trust does not make you vulnerable, it makes you resilient. During this time, you may experience heightened sensitivity, noticing energy shifts, emotional undercurrents, or intuitive nudges more strongly than before, and this heightened awareness is intentional, sharpening your discernment so that when choices present themselves, you recognize alignment immediately rather than second-guessing or settling. Patience also dissolves the illusion that effort alone controls outcomes, reminding you that collaboration with life, rather than